Hut Lakers postgame show.
Big is back. It's bigger, it's cheesier. The Big New Yorker from Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut. Big pizza, bigger deal.
Big New Yorker only at pizzahut.com.
877-710 ESPN.
It's the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Tipping off now,
here's Alan Sliwa.
All right, Lakers handle the Timberwolves 108-102. Never a doubt. Never a doubt in overtime. 108-102. Lakers down 15 at one point. All right, probably a lot of doubts. Lakers find a way to win. Lakers find a way to survive. And Lakers find a way to move on. They're back in the playoffs. We know we're guaranteed now some games against the Memphis Grizzlies. Lakers and the Grizz on Sunday. I'm seeing here, so there's some time starting to come out. It looks like it's going to be a noon game Pacific time on Sunday in Memphis. So the NBA is going to have 4 games on that day. Lakers looks like they'll be the first game at noon, and then you'll have the Bucks play the Clippers and the Suns, and then whoever comes out as the number 8 seeds, which is still getting figured out. So it looks like Lakers will play at noon on Sunday. Okay, a couple ways to just kind of describe this game. It was ugly. It was not how you want to play playoff basketball. It had moments in the game where LeBron and Anthony Davis had 10 turnovers total. There were moments where Bron was making a ton of mistakes, and then there was moments where Bron was making big-time shots or a big-time assist to Dennis Schroeder. There were moments where you were asking, where's Anthony Davis? I think between AD and Bron, they only took 9 free throws. Dennis Schroeder actually got to the free throw line 8 times himself, kind of saved the game for the Lakers. But this game, I thought, was won, obviously, on the defensive side. You only gave up 12 points in the fourth quarter. You gave up 4 points in overtime. So in the final 17 minutes of the game, Lakers gave up 16 points. Dennis Schroeder, and I think I've said this before and will continue to say it, just brought something that to have him as a backup point guard, what a luxury. What a luxury to have him as a backup point guard. I thought he saved the game. Rui Hachimura, I thought, had some key minutes, especially moments where they were putting him on Karl Anthony Towns or he was guarding him off the switch. Anthony Edwards, awful for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I give Minnesota a lot of credit. The Rudy Gobert situation, the Jaden McDaniels situation, Naz Reid they're already missing, and every one of their starters played over 40 minutes. I give them credit. You could tell they were gassed there towards the end. Not sure what they were doing in some of their final possessions, but the Lakers took advantage of it, and it was really who was going to have the ball at the end and was going to make less mistakes. Between the two teams, 45 turnovers. 45 turnovers between the two teams. 24 for the Minnesota Timberwolves and 21 for the Los Angeles Lakers. So that just kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of just how crazy this game was, how back and forth this game was, and how fortunate the Lakers are that they're not going to be playing on Friday. I kept saying this kind of coming into the game. Just the true value of this game was not just, okay, you're not playing in a game on Friday and it's anything can happen and you could potentially end your season on Friday. But for me, I thought was just as important was just the simple reason of getting that rest that the Lakers looks like so desperately need, and they need it. That's I got no other way to put it. Lakers are desperate right now to get some rest and try to regroup. You play like this against the Memphis Grizzlies, there's a good chance you're not going to beat the Grizzlies in a 7-game set. But the beauty is you play one game, you get that game over with, you move on, and now you start preparing for the next team. We'll see how things obviously go from that perspective. I'm going to throw out the phone number, 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-ESPN. So however you're tuning into us, whether you're listening on the radio, on the app, or on all our social platforms, we appreciate you guys tuning in, 877-710-ESPN. And I will also spend a little time reading your tweets and everything else. Okay, so a couple things here that I do want to get started off with. In a game like this where you kind of have a chance to move on, and this is the first time that you really felt, by the way, crypto, the place was unbelievable. It was the first time that we got an opportunity to see the place just as electric as it's really been in years. the last time the Lakers were in the playoffs and they were in a play-in tournament game, remember, that was limited capacity. I think it was like 8,500 seats, something along those lines. So to see the place rocking like it was, the way it was rocking tonight is fantastic. It gives you a little bit of what's to come here when they play the Memphis Grizzlies and they host some of these games. So that was really nice to see. And the fact that you can walk away with a win, even though the circumstances were the circumstances, that's obviously icing on the cake. All right, need a break from the everyday? Well, fans, it might be your lucky day because tonight Fantasy Springs Resort Casino is giving away a 2-night stay, plus dinner and golf or bowling for two. Make any day your lucky day. Book now at FantasySpringsResort.com. Let's take a quick listen. Here's Lakers head coach Darvin Ham.
Until AD fouled Conley, I think Minnesota had 9 points and just couldn't get anything going, hadn't scored in the final 6 minutes. Did you feel like the defense reached a certain level and it wasn't there earlier? And how did it come about?
Yeah, we struggled early. I think they were able to get out and run off of some of our turnovers. We forced them into some turnovers early as well, but it was hard trying to get our defense set, and we had made a plan to try within our best abilities to try not to let Anthony Edwards get loose. And, we double-teamed him for the most of the game, in our pick and rolls and DHOs, whatever, with our 5-man. So that spreads you out a little bit. The guys behind that blitz, that double team, they have to be on their horse, scrambling. They pinned in a few times. They slashed and sealed, got the ball to some of their shooters. Some of their guys came off hot. And they really made us work for this one. And again, shout out to Chris Finch, Cat, Anthony Edwards, and specifically Michael Conley, Taurean Prince. Those guys played with a ton of pride. That's a hell of a ball club over there. Down some of their main guys. Nothing but respect for those guys. And Michael Conley, man, I thought I was watching the Memphis Grizzlies from years ago. It just seemed like everything he threw up went in. And he's just one of the greatest human beings you could ever meet and be around. And his leadership was on full display, and just his game, the level at which he played at, was unbelievable. So we're very fortunate to come out with this win.
Darvin, your affinity for Dennis Schroeder is no secret, and certainly you guys have history together. It seemed that he tweaked his foot in the first half. He gets through it. Could have had the game winner. Certainly a huge shot of the night. Just can you speak about the effort you got out of him and how vital he was, especially because he didn't play in your last 2 games of the regular season?
Yeah, man, the kid's just he's just the heart, his competitive spirit. Just his ability to make big plays and take tough matchups in the biggest of moments. Is just his attitude, his confidence. He's unbelievable, extraordinary, and he lives for those types of moments. And early in the year, he got hit in the corner on the similar shot late in the game. I can't remember exactly who we were playing, but I do remember the play. I don't know, the pass might have came from Bron as well, but he missed that shot. But to see him knock it down, he's going to do everything with confidence, defensively. Ask for the toughest matchup, but it's Dennis. It's classic Dennis, and we're fortunate that he's on our team. And again, I mentioned this before the game, but guys are going to have tough nights, and other guys got to be ready to step up. And it's not about trying to just I don't know what the word is, but everybody's all hands on deck, and it's about getting the win. It's not about your way, my way, his way, but the best way to go about getting the win, and he put us in a position to come out on top.
Darvin, LeBron earlier this year, has this all-time great achievement, but tonight to give you 45 minutes, diving at loose balls, after turnovers and what did we all know about his skill, but his heart tonight, what did you see?
Just a champion. He had some tough moments, some balls that got away from him. Got pent in a couple of times, but make no mistake about it. I told him after the game, the entire team, this game was the definition of having a next play mentality. We had a lot of loose possessions. We had a couple of defensive breakdowns. They were able to hit some huge threes, create a deficit, and we just kept chipping away at it. And for them to score 60 points in the first half, and then the way we defended as the game wore on from the third quarter to the fourth quarter to overtime, is a testament to this team, the grit, the grind, the high competitive spirit, and he's at the forefront of that. And the constant communication, even when things didn't work out, we had some unfortunate plays, but no one got down on each other, no personal attacks, just everybody passionate about how can we best close out the game. And again, he's the main one. He's been the main one, not just tonight, but through the course of since we made the deal at the deadline and trying to get these new guys acclimated. He and AD both, and I think the guys around them, seeing them, how they communicate with us as coaches and amongst each other, it frees them up to not be reserved, but to be more willing to communicate and see what it is that we need to do. But he was spectacular in the biggest moments and really put us on his back and did the little things, like you say, chasing down, trying to get 50-50 balls, being a threat, screening, rolling, trying to handle, and, happy we just were able to pull it out.
You mentioned guys having tough nights. D'Lo, 2 points, 1 for 9 shooting. Didn't really come back into the game after the midway point of the third. What did you see from him tonight? And did you feel like he was pressing a little bit offensively?
Well, you're going to have rough nights out here, and I have all the confidence in the world in D'Lo. We're going to need him on this run that we plan to make, and starting with game 1 at Memphis. And you just got to be able to snap back and bounce back. It's a long season. Some nights it's not going to be your night. Again, that's why you try to fortify your roster with multiple players who are capable of, once you call their number, they're able to not just go out there and gobble up minutes, but get minutes and play at a high level. And now it just happened to be Dennis tonight. But make no mistake about it, we brought D'Lo here to come out here and be D'Lo and to make plays. And so we'll sit down, we'll watch film and as a group and definitely communicate and just let him know that, we're gonna need him. This may be a one-off, no doubt about it, but he's going to be in the thick of things at the forefront of us having success in the postseason.
Coach, was it almost like a roller coaster ride for you, because you go into this game at home, they come in, they have a couple of their key players out, and this was just back and forth all the way?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a prideful group over there that really care for one another. You see it in their play. And with a leader, again, I can't talk about this enough, the leadership skills of Michael Conley. And they have some very capable guys over there, and Carl and Anthony and Torian and all those guys. So Kyle, like they really know how to play basketball at a high level. So it didn't surprise us. And then with the stakes that are on the line, 7, 8, no one wants to go try to put themselves in position. Again, it's sort of tournament-like, these one games to either secure your spot, or now in that 7-8 position, you got to go compete against the winner of 2 other good teams. So everyone knew what was riding on this one. The rest, the days of rest that you gain by coming out with this game is priceless. So that's on both teams' minds. The direct competition as well as the circumstances surrounding who wins and who loses. So we expected a dog fight, and they gave us one.
All right, that's Lakers head coach Darvin Ham right there. I like a few of the things that he said, especially at the end. By the way, kind of congratulating the way he did the Minnesota Timberwolves. I respect that. I completely understand. I think a lot of people thought, I think the spread on this game was 8.5. Ended up being 6. But who would have thought that the Minnesota Timberwolves were going to pretty much control the entire night and have a lead for the most part of the game? Lakers find a way to win. I like what he said at the end there, too, about how important it is just to have that rest. I don't think there's anything else that's more important to the Lakers right now than having some days off. They look tired. They look tired in that whole week that they played. Against the Jazz, they will go to overtime. The Clippers game, the Suns, the Utah Jazz, and then followed up with another game here. They look tired. So I think rest can obviously be a huge benefit to them, and hopefully they're ready to go by the time Sunday rolls around. Okay, when we come back, I know we got a lot of people that want to talk Lakers basketball. I'll take as many calls as I can. Stay right here. Lakers over the Minnesota Timberwolves in the play-in game. 108-102, the final score in overtime. The official game time coming up for Sunday in Memphis at noon. So the Lakers will have a game at noon. We'll start our pregame show at 10:30. Still got a few more days until we get there, but keep that in mind. Stay right here. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
The Lakers Line.
Presented by Pizza Hut.
Big is back. It's bigger, it's cheesier. The Big New Yorker from Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut. Big pizza, bigger deal. $13.99 Big New Yorker, only at pizzahut.com.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers Postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Alan Sliwa.
All right, Points in the Paint all season long is sponsored by Vista Paint. Right now, local residents can take 40% off on factory direct high-quality Vista Paint products. A Vista Paint team member will show you how. Locally owned, manufactured, and operated since 1956. Visit vistapaint.com and start saving. Points in the Paint tonight, 54-36, an 18-point advantage for the Lakers. Lakers win in OT, 108-102. They win the they secure the 7th place of the playoffs, so they got the Memphis Grizzlies coming up on Sunday. Never in doubt, Laker fans. Never in doubt, other than the 38 times that it was in doubt. Okay, let's take some calls here. So, Laker fans, as you can imagine, there is a ton of people that want to talk Lakers basketball tonight, so please do me a favor. Get right to your point so then I could try to get through these calls as fast as I can. Antoine, or is that Antonio in Compton? Or Antoine in Compton. What's going on, Antoine?
Hey, Slee, thanks for taking my call, man.
Got it, man.
It was a great win, but as you can see from the past few games, man, the team just isn't playing with that free-flowing style they were playing with before Bron came back, and when LeBron was working his game way back, those few games like the Bulls, Rockets, and the first Memphis game. So it's like when they start to defer to LeBron too much, it kind of slows the offense down. The pace isn't there, and they kind of get stuck offensively, and that takes away the defensive intensity as well. It's kind of noticeable. Plus, LeBron's plus-minus in these games it's noticeably bad. I won't put too much on a plus-minus, but it shows from the amount of minutes he plays when he has the worst plus-minus among the starters.
Well, first off, and I appreciate you calling in, I think the plus-minus, there is a place for it. I know some people don't pay. The ones who say, it means nothing, I disagree with. The ones that say it means everything, I disagree with. They tell somewhat of a story. Listen, I think the teams that play the best in the NBA, that ball is moving. And you don't know who's going to shoot the ball. And you're constantly – I don't want to just use the Golden State Warriors loosely because the Golden State Warriors are arguably one of the best offenses that we've ever seen with the best shooters, and it's beautiful basketball. But the more the ball sticks, I think the more trouble that the Lakers are in. The more isolation basketball you play, I think the more trouble you're in. I'll give you an example. There were moments tonight where the ball was sticking and it just felt like it was iso ball. There was other moments tonight where the Minnesota Timberwolves just started dribbling the ball and trying to run the shot clock down, and they were up 8 or 6 or 5 or whatever the case was, and were hoping not to just lose the ball, and that's when they were at their worst. So the chemistry being off, I said this in the pregame show. Travis and I were talking about Lakers talk last night. I kept saying, look, I felt good about tonight, but the last week of basketball that the Lakers played was not good, period. It wasn't. So if the competition's only going to get better, and Memphis is an interesting one. Memphis, everybody keeps talking about how they're too young or they're too cocky or whatever the case is. Well, they've been in some playoff series before. It's not like this is the first time they've ever been to the playoffs. I like a group that says to themselves, hey, we're okay with taking on some of the biggest and the baddest that are out there. They've done that with the Golden State Warriors. Now you got to back up some of your talk. But the Memphis Grizzlies, if anybody thinks that you're just going to go walk in and the Grizzlies are going to be a walk in the park, I don't know what to tell you. Now, the Steven Adams, the Brandon Clark, those are two key players that they're obviously missing. But Minnesota's missing some key players tonight as well, and they made it a game. All right, let's go to Eddie in L.A. Eddie, what's going on?
Hey, Slee, what's going on?
Thank you for calling in,
the
bud.
Lakers don't make it easy, do they, man? They got to do things the hard way. But luckily, our defense looked like the 85 Bears or the 2000 Ravens in that fourth quarter in overtime, and Dennis Jimenez came through. And one more thing, man. AD, what are you doing, man? You got to quit having those stupid attacks at the end of the game. Come on, man.
Yeah, he's had a few moments, and he's admitted it. He's talked about it, whether it's been missed free throws at the end of games. I think, let's see, he missed 2 free throws against Boston. He missed a free throw against Philadelphia 76ers. He's had some lapses. Obviously, the foul on Maxi Kleber against the Dallas Mavericks fouls him on a 3. He's had some moments. This one, he's very, very lucky it didn't come back and haunt the Lakers. By the way, those usually, I don't know how you guys felt, but when that foul, I don't know if Conley's going to hit all three free throws. It looked like the first one was the toughest, and he nails the next 2. In my head, I thought Lakers are going to lose this game. There's a lot of times I thought Lakers are going to lose this game. But they, obviously found a way to win. Alex in the South Bay. Alex, what's going on?
What's going on, Slee? So real quick, I just want to say, it's good to get into the dance. The win's a win, but I'm leaving this game more discouraged than encouraged, man. Just bonehead plays from your star player. Your other star player is turning the ball over multiple times. I feel the Timberwolves lost this game more than the Lakers won it. Karl Anthony Towns came into the fourth quarter, I think at the 6-minute mark, maybe more, and he literally made it through the entire game. Like, as LeBron or anyone else on that team, like, how do you not attack him to foul him out? I just don't get it. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully they got a run in him. But again, I'm leaving this game not feeling very, very. I feel fortunate, but just not very good about how far we'll be able to make it against.
Alex, I think that's a good assessment. I really do. I think that's a very honest assessment. I think saying that you took more negatives out. Let's put it this way. If the Lakers came in tonight, which a lot of people thought, and they won this game by 15 points, and it wasn't a game from the start, you'd be feeling a little bit different than, walking into the series against the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, here's the good news. The good news is you don't have to take one game and it's, you have to apply it to the next. Lakers don't have a game coming up until Sunday. So I think they're going to get the rest that they're looking for. I think they'll definitely regroup, which they desperately need to. And then let's see what the Lakers come out and do. But I'm with you. I get what you're saying, that you before this game you could have felt a certain way. After this game, I'm with you that I think the Minnesota Timberwolves found a way to lose that game, and I don't know if it was the Lakers ripping that game away. I'm not going to take anything away. Lakers defense gave 16 points in the final 17 minutes, so give them credit there. Their defense stepped up, but I don't know what Minnesota was doing for the final few minutes of that game. Okay, let's take a quick listen here to LeBron James.
LeBron, just wanted to start on a zoom-out question. Tonight's game, obviously, a key to getting there, but you're into the playoffs now. You get a chance for the full 7-game series. How do you feel about the progression, where the team has gone, trade deadline, the whole thing, to get to this point? What kind of chance do you give yourself?
We went 2-10. The analytics side said we had a 0.3 chance of making the postseason. So, that's all you ask for is a chance, I guess. And for us to turn around our season and give ourselves an opportunity to compete for the Larry O'Brien Trophy, that's all you can ask for.
LeBron, in a lot of ways, this game kind of felt like your year. Slow start, had to fight back into it. As you guys move ahead, how much confidence do you draw from the fact that this team has shown this level of resilience throughout the year?
Yeah, that's one thing we've been really good at. Even through the ups and downs, we've been very resilient, been able to stick with the game, and find a way to gut it out and win. Either with slow starts or not finishing the game off how we would like to, but just always trying to find a way. And tonight was another instance of that versus a very, very, very good team.
LeBron, did you guys as a group have to kind of reset mentally going into overtime after the swing of Schroeder hitting the shot and then Conley getting fouled?
No, yeah, of course.
And what was said or what was done to get?
No, we discussed it on the bench. The play was between me and AD. We discussed it on the bench, and then, we move forward. Because we still got 5 more minutes to play. That's how we started overtime. We outscored them in OT 10-4. So we was able to, recalibrate, get our game back, and then go out. I think we scored the first 5 points of overtime, and it was good for us.
Obviously, it wasn't the prettiest of games. Do you think there's anything to glean about how this could reflect what you look like in the first round, or is it separate? And can you turn the page going into the Memphis?
This was definitely a playoff game, playoff atmosphere, playoff intensity. The refs allowed us to play. It felt like the playoffs. So. It's good to get into the playoff feel of the game. But obviously it's a different matchup that we have coming this weekend with Memphis. And, we'll take our day off tomorrow and get our minds right and get our bodies whatever and watch the playing games tomorrow. And then start to lock in on our opponent on Thursday as a group and go from there and see, how we match up with this team.
LeBron, there was a moment in the overtime where you were bent over and Dennis came over, I think, rubbed you on the head. I don't know if you like it touching your hair or not, but there was also, then AD came over. Was that a moment where all of you guys, just giving all you had, and you had it just to collect yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. It's playoff intensified out there, and, you down for loose balls, you're taking charges, you running guys off the line, trying to keep a body in front of them, you rebound, you assisting, you're giving, you basically just taking the gas tank down to E and then trying to refuel as much as you can, see if it's a reserve tank. So, definitely, when you got guys that's, doing the same thing, taking it down to E, that it gives you motivation also to get up and, you'll get energy, after the game, but you can always find a way to make one more play or, one more steal or one more block out, one more rebound or, get one more stop. And, that's what we did in overtime.
LeBron, I know you said you're going to lock into things more on Thursday, but what are your early thoughts on the matchup with Memphis and just kind
Really, just really good team. Very well coached, very well balanced. Obviously, the head of Snake is John Morant, but another all-star in Jaren Jackson, who's up there, one of the defensive player of the year. His ability to block shots, but offensively, he's very dynamic as well. Tyus Jones, the point guard off the bench, has led the league in the assist-to-turnover ratio like the last 6 years. So he complements them very well. Desmond Bane, I think in his third year, second or third year, but he plays like a veteran. His ability to shoot the ball from the three-point line is also his ability to, attack an early transition. Dylan Brooks, an opportunity to go out there and you can't disrespect him because he makes shots Xavier Tillman has been playing good basketball. Obviously, he's been well coached all the way from college days, with Coach Izzo, to now, and so on and so on. They got Luke Kennard, who broke my scoring record in high school. He passed me in high school, and there's a reason why, because he's a laser from the three-point line. His ability to shoot the ball, is uncanny. And they got so many other guys also off the bench that you can't disrespect because they will make you pay. Obviously, I haven't thought about Memphis one minute.
Last three, we'll go Malika, then we'll go Kurt, and then we'll end with Tim Parker.
LeBron, you said that really you just wanted a chance, right? A shot at getting to where you are now. But we've yet to see in, the third official year of the play-in, a team who was in the play-in go and really make noise in a first-round series. Do you think that's just a matter of seeding? Is that a matter of something getting taken out of those teams in the play-in? How do you kind of look at that, and how can you do that differently this year?
I don't know. Obviously, I'm never been a big fan of the play-in. I said that when it first started. I'm still not a big fan of it, but it is what it is, and we took care of business and we advanced. But I think with us, with our ball club, it's all about. We're still a relatively young group put together since the break, but over the last few years, there's always availability for our ball club and how we can be on the floor and how we can continue to get that game experience on the floor. So. Over the last few weeks since I've been back, or the last couple weeks since I've been back, we had an opportunity. We had a couple guys out. DS missed the last 2 games. D-Lo missed a couple games, but for the most part, we've been relatively healthy, and that helps. It helps, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. In this first round series, and we go from there.
It's LeBron James right there, sort of previewing, sort of talking about the Memphis Grizzlies, but obviously how the Lakers survive in this one. 108-102, the final score in OT. All right, let's do this. We'll take some more of your phone calls. If you're on hold, just wait. I'll try my best to get to you. 877-710-ESPN. We'll start sort of talking about the Memphis Grizzlies. I think we're getting a little bit closer to that as well. We know the game's going to be Sunday at noon, so keep that in mind. Stay right here. Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line. The Los Angeles Lakers on 710 ESPN.
Presented by Pizza Hut.
Big is back. It's bigger, it's cheesier. The Big New Yorker from Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut. Big pizza, bigger deal.
Big New Yorker only at pizzahut.com.
Once again,
Here's Alan Sliwa.
All right, we'll get a chance to listen to Austin Reaves. We'll get a chance to hear from Anthony Davis. We'll do all that in just a little bit. Lakers over the Minnesota Timberwolves, 108-102, final in overtime. Lakers dominate. They own the Timberwolves. All right, probably not. It was ugly. I don't really know how to describe the last fourth quarter in the overtime, the last 17 minutes of the game. It was not picture perfect, and both sides of it. I thought the Minnesota Timberwolves made a ton of mistakes. It was interesting how Anthony Edwards kept jacking up threes. He was 0 for 9 from 3, wasn't trying to get to the free throw line. Lakers, a lot of mistakes from them as well. Bron had some weird stretches where he certainly had some turnovers that I thought, could this be a difference in game? Anthony Davis fouling Mike Conley with a second left and 0.1 left on the clock, hits 3 free throws to send into overtime. Lot of interesting moments, but I'm going to go back to this, and I really say this because I do think it's the absolute truth. You'd rather them just walk away saying, damn, we got lucky with that one, and get 4 days off and try to regroup for Memphis, then imagine if they ended up losing this game and you got a game coming up again on Friday. That could be your final game of the season, or if you beat whoever it is that remains, then in that game, right after that game, you're flying to Denver and getting ready for a 7-game set against Jokic and Jamal Murray and everybody else, the number 1 seed. So at least the Lakers got a chance to avoid that. Ken in Newport Beach. What's going on, Ken?
Hi, Alan. I'm still trying to get over that. All my years, 40 years of watching Laker basketball, I've never seen a game where both teams were doing everything they could to lose. Minnesota had 60 points in the first half. They had 38 in the second half. And as you mentioned, only 16 in the fourth quarter in the overtime. I've never seen anything like that. LeBron, 3 turnovers in the last 7 minutes, 2 of them out of bounds play. D'Lo, 1 for 9, just completely out of his game. And then, I played the game and I coached the game. One thing I've always learned is you never foul anybody in the last 10 seconds of any game, ever. And he's done it twice, and that's Davis. But you know what? I don't care, because we're going one more game and get to rest.
That's the goal, Ken. That's the goal. The goal is what the Minnesota Timberwolves would be saying is, man, we were really bad in the fourth quarter, but we walked away with a win. And they don't get to say that. So they're going to go back to Minnesota kind of kicking themselves, saying, look at all those opportunities that we missed. That's the goal, is to just win and move on. If they play like they did over the last week, yeah, that could get ugly against Memphis. So now it's a matter of regrouping and fixing, making the corrections. I really think rest is going to be the most important thing that this team needs right now. Solomon and Lake Balboa. What's going on, Solomon?
Hey, I'm good, Alan. You know what? The basketball gods smiled on the Lakers tonight, because I'm not going to say they didn't deserve to win, because they did gut it out and they did pull it out somehow. However, if they would have lost, I would have said they didn't deserve to win. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was like a battle of who could be worse in that fourth quarter and overtime. Neither team, like Chick Hearn used to say, could throw a pea in the ocean. But, hey, you pointed it out. 4 days off. Just take it, smile, kick your feet up for a little bit, catch your breath, and let's move on.
Well, here's the beauty, too, Solomon. For us NBA fans, get to kick back, watch a couple games tomorrow. Friday, get to watch the finals of the play-in. And then Saturday, a full slate of games. We don't have to worry until Sunday. Mo in San Diego. Mo, what's going on?
Always good to talk to you. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, man.
So I'm looking at this game, and I'm saying Memphis is probably licking their chops, because to me, this is a little bit on Coach Ham. He has got to tighten up on some of these execution plays down the stretch. We're blaming AD, but we got to be put in better positions. Every time the game is in the balance and a three-pointer is in the mix, we seem to not be able to put people in the right position. And then not being able to get an inbounds pass multiple times, not being able to execute those types of things down the stretch. Those are X's and O's, and those things have to be tightened up. That's not a fatigue thing to me. When you're in the huddle, you have to draw that up. You can't put Reaves, who's an excellent player. We love Reaves, but he's a young guy in a tough situation. You got him taking the ball out, and he makes a bad pass, and that's not. You have to notice. You have to take the ball out of people's hands sometime and make the call. I didn't like some of the rotations where you had, they're down their longest players, their biggest players, their wings, and we go small and go down to their size instead of going big and taking advantage of.
Mo, I'm going to jump in, buddy. Mo, I'm going to jump in. I appreciate you calling in. I get the points that you're trying to make here. Was not perfect basketball. You could look at the coach as well. I mean, I'm always open to looking at coach and saying, okay, hey, he could have done this better, he could have done that better. I do want to go to Austin Reaves. You mentioned Reaves a couple times. Let's take a listen to Reaves and his thoughts on tonight's game.
Obviously, the final possession and then what it took from you guys in the final five.
I mean, obviously there were some mistakes. My turnover, end of regulation. I think Brian had one, or close to end of overtime foul. But hey, it's I guess playoff basketball. You take every win you can get.
Mistakes aside, what can be said about the resilience of this group, especially right now?
A lot. I mean, obviously we didn't have our best stuff tonight. They come out from the jump and play well. But I think when I was on the radio outside, they said that they didn't have a bucket until Conley's free throws like the last 6 minutes. So that's big right there. I mean, that's how you win games like that.
What is it about this team? I mean, considering you started 2-10 and got to where you are now, you were down big tonight. You just kept plugging away, kept battling, and it's almost like it's a team that won't die.
Yeah, I mean, with the talent that we have, you have Brown, AD, D'Lo, they're never really out of a game, regardless, if it's 20, 15, whatever. I mean, if you, like you said, chip away and really just lock in on the defensive end, I think we, offensively we score really well. So if you just, lock in and, like you said, chip away, you're never out of the game. So that was really, like the mindset that we have, every game.
To go through those swings from the a game time 3 for LeBron to a turnover to the go-ahead 3